What's up, guys? Welcome back to Open Up. I was talking the other day, and I was in this conversation about who is lonelier or who is more likely to be lonelier, men or women. And I say my argument was definitely men. There's a higher percentage of men who
say that
men are more likely to be lonelier than women. Not saying there aren't certain women out there who aren't lonely. I'm just saying as a whole, as a society, it's more common for a man to be lonely than a woman.
Okay, I can agree with you on some points, but I kind of believe might be women are more lonelier. And the reason I think that is because, a woman, is more likely to go back to a toxic relationship.
That is true.
To be with somebody again.
That is true, and I do agree with that because that does happen all the time.
And not saying that men don't do that, but there's more often women appearing to go back to very, very toxic and, physical relationships.
Yes, and that's 100% true. And there's a few factors. It could be loneliness, it could be... But I'm talking let's say, and the reason why I say men I want you to think about this. Think about the kid that you knew, or you might know someone, who grew up in high school, went to high school, had no friends, maybe nerdy, who knows. He played video games, lived in his mom's basement. Okay. Now he's in his 20s, went to college, had no friends.
You're describing me, bro.
Has
Relax.
has a job where he's invisible.
Okay.
And hasn't had a girlfriend, for years, or if at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's sad.
But we all know, we've either know someone like that, or you've also seen that type of person. We know, so when I explain it to everybody, they're like, yeah, right away a picture comes to your head, like, okay, I know what kind of person. I'm not saying that's the only type of guy that happens to, but I think it's more, it happens to those guys way more frequent.
Okay. Now, you can. There's another way you can look at this. I understand with the loneliness, but with loneliness comes, depression and all that. And yes. I can vouch and feel like men are more toxic when they're lonely. Meaning, I feel like a man would be more likely when he's lonely and down and out to do something, bad to himself or hostile.
Yeah, and you're definitely not wrong with that. That is definitely... Look at I hate to go to the extreme on this, but look at the bomber guys. They're always lonely and doing something. Now, I know everybody doesn't go to that extreme, but that's what you're saying is a possibility. You know what I'm saying? And that's just one possibility. You're right. They can be harmful to society, harmful to themselves. And, I think it's because if you have a woman... Let's say most women, let's say most good-looking women, or just most women in general, they can go to a bar and pretty much point their finger and say, "I want you." If the guy is single or not faithful, her chances are 95%.
Regardless if they're married or not, their chances are still probably
that's what I'm saying.
70 to 80%.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if they're hot. No point intended. But I'm just saying, I get what you're saying. It's easier for a woman to find companionship than a man can.
Yes.
And I was reading about it, and statistics do show that. But there is a variant in it. And it says, statistically, women will more likely say they're lonelier.
Yeah, okay. More like
when they ask, would more admit it because there's a woman shares more, and then a man with his masculinity, because that's a big part of being lonely. You feel like you're not a man anymore.
That's actually true.
Left. Yeah. So I kind of feel like maybe those stats are shifted, but then and it also can be because younger men are, like I said, more masculine. They're not gonna say much.
Yeah.
Because then you go on to read and it says men over 55 are more prone and likely to say how lonely they are as well.
And when it comes to that age, I kind of get it. Let's say you've been married since you're 25 or 30.
Or you've been with somebody, God forbid something happens.
Passed away, exactly. And then you're at this age now where you're
it's hard.
No longer, you may have the financial means, but still, you don't want to be with somebody just because you have money. You know what I'm saying?
and not at the end of your life. You want
exactly.
By that time, you're already looking. Your kids are older or what have you, and you're looking for somebody to grow old with.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, because your kids are already moved on. If you have kids, they're moved on. They're having their life, and every day you're home by yourself. So, and plus, think about this: your characteristics have changed from the time you're 55, let's say. You're a totally different person than when you were 21.
100%. By the time most men and women are 30 to 35, they should be almost reaching that level of the maturity where I'm not 20 anymore. Yes. I can't do that. Let's step it up and get to that adulthood.
Yeah, and some people love to just grasp onto that.
Like it's bad, especially a guy. A guy is more likely to grasp onto that. I was 21 and I can do anything. I can still do that.
Yeah.
Women are better, of course. You guys mature much better. You're smarter than us.
You definitely mature faster earlier.
And that's what I think too. When you come down to lonelier, like a woman, they're smarter than that. They understand. Right now they could be with somebody or not. I feel like you said, a man can't just walk somewhere and be like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah, I want this one. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I think the point you're making, and I agree with you to a point, because women kind of are they're more vocal about being
share much
lonely.
More.
So I feel that they have it's conscious, maybe it's subconscious, not sure, but they gather people before they get to that. Like, I'm lonely, so they spend more time with their friends, or they spend more time with their family, or they go back to a relationship. I think women recognize it more and are a lot faster at fixing the problem than men are. Because what you said before about men, I mean, that's pretty spot on, man. And I can tell.
Being a man, obviously.
Yeah. And I know a lot of guys who are like that, and you just, would just say, hey, reach out for help, but they just won't do it.
Okay, and that brings me to another question now. Could that be because women, like you said, they're more vocal. They have women friends talk and comfort.
Yeah.
But on the other side, is there really a guy friend that you can go and get comfort from? And that again leaves a man by himself, and again more lonelier. Because if anybody is anybody, and anybody knows anything, if you do not speak upon what is bothering you, it will fester inside and eat you.
Oh yeah, of course.
Men are stubborn. We're stubborn by nature.
Or embarrassed, stubborn. However you want to phrase it.
Masculinity comes a lot into it. Again.
It does. It plays a huge role.
And men are so stubborn that they will take that to the grave. Women have friends they can talk to. Like I said, when I was young and I had, when I was in my high 20s, I had a bunch of friends. But at that point of my life, when something went wrong, I looked at the friends I had and I realized, like, wow, can I actually talk to these guys about what's going on?
Yes.
Or, most of my friends are put the battery in your back and say, yo, forget her. Let's go get some beers and let's go forget thinking about that.
And you're exactly right. And that's exactly what I think is the problem for most men is that, because just like you said, can I really talk to these people? Because you're talking about possibly opening up and letting them know, like, yo, I'm lonely. And again, masculinity, it kind of stops you from doing that, But I feel like if a woman was lonely, let's say she just had a guy friend, and she was, she wanted to hang out more often. It's a lot easier for her for her to have, let's say, a guy friend come over and hang out. Where for a guy, it's a little different. So we have to look more towards our male, friends than we do our female friends.
Okay, and good, great. Another question. Okay, so now you're saying, what if the girl has a guy friend? Now we all know women have 1,000% different needs than us men.
Yeah.
So, in effect, for a woman to have a guy friend and have somebody, a male friend to just hang out with and be with and talk to, that's settling enough for a woman.
Yes, exactly.
So let's switch it to the other spectrum of the man. Now, we are idiots, so basically
I
they
agree.
say we cannot have women friends because the one thing on our mind is always something beyond the friendship.
Yeah, and that definitely ruins it most of the time.
Exactly. So with a man even having a woman friend, if he's mature enough and can speak to his woman friend about this and get the other head out of the way, then I would feel like we can actually even out with the loneliness.
Yeah, you're right. But and yes, we know there are men are probably saying, no, I have friends who don't sleep. Yeah, we know. There are people who are exceptions. But the majority, we're talking about the populace, you know what I mean? Because we can't go individually by each person.
No.
You're right. But the majority of the people, and that becomes an issue. So they can't, so most of these men can't go and seek help or, camaraderie, I guess, from a woman.
Yes, you can't get that side, but you can't get a touching, caring side from a man. You need that from a woman.
Yeah, and you're not going to get it from your friends.
No,
most of the guys aren't going to get friends.
Now, in the older stage of my life, where we have family and I have close friends. Now, this part of my life, I feel like if I had a problem like that, I can talk to a friend about that. And
friends are different now.
Now, you get older.
Yeah, as you get older,
everything changes as you're a kid, and you can take on the world, and you get old, and you realize, damn it, I need every step I can take.
Yeah, and I think that's true because when you're younger, you think you don't really know where you're going.
Yeah,
and everybody's got their own little path. When you get to this age, when you and your buddy, you're both married, you both have kids, both have homes. It's almost like we have a connection. There's something I could sit down and talk to this person. I could sit down and be real with them, and he or she could possibly relate. To what I'm going through.
Yes.
And
we call that a bromance, gentlemen. Yeah. Bromances.
But they're important.
Have one.
They're important.
They are important. Bromances are, they're fantastic. Because if you can really find a friend, a guy friend in you that you can really open up to, granted, hold on to that and keep that, because there will be times that you need that conversation.
You definitely need it. You definitely have to have that in your life because it's a long road without having that. So I know. I guess what I'm saying. So I guess my conclusion is I would definitely say, like I did in the beginning, I would say men are more likely.
You know what? And I'm kind of talking about this whole topic. I'm kind of almost swaying now back to yours because in the beginning I did say women I felt were more lonelier because they would go back into a toxic relationship. But now talking about it and thinking about it over, men are definitely more harmful. And they, and they're maybe they are actually more lonely. It's just we don't have, the stats that everybody would hope for and say, guys. With this conversation, it can also go into another topic which me and RC know a lot about, and we try to preach about it. Which, with loneliness comes depression. And if anybody has known anybody or has been in a situation where they fall deep into a hole, I mean, it's ugly. It's ugly. And I want to let people know depression is real, guys. And if you knew of anybody, I mean, you can see that the struggle is real. The struggle is real.
And most of the time the people aren't going to ask for the help. So if you have a friend or someone sometimes it helps just to reach out and say, hey, what's going on?
With that conversation comes, again, guy friends.
Yeah.
Exactly. Women more likely to speak on problems that they're having. Guys, again, are not.
They seem to have more of a community than
and with guys, it's hard to find that one guy you can speak to about it. But if anybody's ever seen anybody going down that road, I mean, the best thing you can do is say hi. I mean, the easiest words is, hey man, how you doing? Just to get the conversation started. I mean, nobody ever wants to see anybody go down a bad road.
No, not at all.
And depression that's the only thing it does. It leads you down a bad road, and it can do a number of things to your body, your mind. And we just like to talk about it because, again, we've been through it. We've seen the lows. And I at one point got really bad, but just looking at other people and how they dealt with it, you know, they a lot of people do worse.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and you want to think of that. So I'm going to end you with something I always say is, you know, do more, be more. Make sure everybody does a little bit more in life. You know, we can get a whole lot out of it. Anything else?
Just hit that like and subscribe.
All right, guys, listen, if you want to comment, you know, if you just want to say something, say hey, leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you. And if you like the content, hit that like button, share it with your friends. Maybe we can all get into a conversation. And thanks for showing up today, and I'll see you on the other time.
All right. See you later.
Later, guys.